So the Bible says, in the last days there shall be doctrines of devils, and the Bible says that we are not ignorant of his devices, Satan. So it's important that in the last days we are to be aware of what doctrines that Satan will use to deceive the whole world to prepare his new world order. So one of the interesting things that you're going to notice about the Antichrist is look at Zechariah chapter 11, verse 16 through 17. For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock! The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. Okay, so notice right here that Zechariah chapter 11, verse 16 through 17, it's talking about this idle shepherd, whoever he is, whoever this idle shepherd is. But God's going to send a idle shepherd. So notice, one, he's an idol. Two, he's going to feed off the land. So he's a conqueror. So that's another thing. Another thing to notice about him is that you'll notice in that verse, there's going to be a sword that wounds him. So these are the clues to what this shepherd is. And when you compare that with, go to Revelation 13. Revelation 13. Thus we identify who this idle shepherd is. And that is the Antichrist. That is the Antichrist. Revelation chapter 13, and we will look at verse 3. Revelation chapter 13, and we will look at verse 3. So let's see these clues about Zechariah 11, if it matches with the Antichrist. Revelation chapter 13, and we will look at verse 3. The Bible reads right here, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, I forgot to add another clue, but remember as Zechariah 11, his head is injured. It mentions his right eye, right? Yeah. So he receives a head injury. So this head injury is more specifically located at his eye. Is the Antichrist, does he receive a head injury in Revelation 13? Yes. Yes. So thus, check. Keep reading. Look at verse 7. Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Notice that this individual, the idle shepherd, he's a conqueror, right? Does that match Revelation 13, the Antichrist, where he's a conqueror? Yes, check. He conquers nations. Remember that verse says he will go throughout the land and eat the fattest places. So Revelation 13 shows the Antichrist conquering lands for himself. So check. Let's read verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. This shepherd is connected to an idol, right? Does the Antichrist have his idol, his image? Yes. Check mark. Guess what the modern Bibles did? No. Mistranslation. They must have made an error in the word. It's not this kind of idol. It's this idol. Totally different meaning. No, when they got rid of this, you know what they got rid of? Yeah. The Antichrist will have an idol to worship. Yeah. This ain't some lazy shepherd. You think this guy is lazy? He's not lazy. He's eating up the lambs. Right. Let's keep reading right here. Notice the next part of verse 14. Which had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay, check. He had a sword wound, right? The wound by a sword. Boom. There's no doubt. This is the Antichrist. Right. So we notice right here that Zechariah 11 is undoubtedly referring to the Antichrist. Now back at Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 17, what did you notice about this Antichrist? What is Satan's ruler? his New World Order and king is represented as. If you look at Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 17, it says, "Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his" what? "Right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened." You know what the Antichrist is known for? He is known to be a cyclops. He is known to be a pirate. He is known to be the all-powerful eye. This New World Order leader, some of you who know conspiracy theories know what I'm going to get into now. This New World Order leader who's going to be worshipped as God, and all the world will bow before this beast. He is known to have what? His right eye darkened. He will be a one-eyed monster. He will be a one-eyed New World Order leader. And guess what? If you study all the details and everything that the elites are doing behind the scenes with the government, they are preparing. If you look at the New Age Order doctrine, Theosophy doctrines, and certain elites who associated themselves with those organizations, their creeds all mention that one day they will worship this New World Order leader. And it also mentions about something Masonic about the eye. Didn't you know that? So here's the quote by Blavatsky. She was the one that was one of the founders of the Theosophical Society, major player among these cults. So it's called the third eye and the pineal gland. And this is, you can find it in their website, Blavatsky's Theosophy Group, UK, The Teachings of H.P. Blavatsky and the Masters. And they give a quote from one of her books. It's, I believe, from the Secret Book of Daizan, Secrets and Doctrines, 1.27. So if you look at that, it's going to read this. In Hindu esotericism, it is called the eye of Shiva, while in the esoteric Buddhism of Tibet and the trans-Himalayan regions, it is referred to as the eye of the Dhamma. So notice right here that different Eastern religions consider this as a deified thing. This is by Madame Blavatsky. Alone, the one form of existence, stretched boundless, infinite, causeless, in dreamless sleep and life, pulsated unconscious in universal space, throughout that all presence, which is sensed by the open eye of the Dhamma. But where was the Dhamma when the Alaya of the universe was in Paramartha and the great wheel was Anupadaka? So she connects this with something deified right here. This all-seeing, powerful presence of the universe. So you'll notice right here that the Theosophical Society, who are ready for the New World Order, they believe in that. And then if you look at some of these elites, what organizations they associated to, that is one of their deified beings when you go high up the ladder. But here's something very interesting that you don't know about, that it's already in our government. It's already in our government. It's called George Washington. Yep. The $1 bill. If you don't believe me, you can take out your wallet right now. What do you see? Yeah. This guy right here. Why did they put this up? They didn't have this before until some person named FDR, who was connected to Masons, had this. How about that? So let me read from one of the letters right here from Henry Wallace. This is excerpts from Henry Wallace's letters in 1951 and 55. He's the one that started to put this up right there, this eye. They didn't have this before, but they suddenly put it in their government. Quote, Roosevelt, as he looked at the colored reproduction of the seal, was first struck with the representation of the all-seeing eye, a Masonic representation of the great architect of the universe. So that's their deified being if you look at the Mason oaths, And this is the one that was described by the Theosophical Societies, Madame Blavatsky, etc. Anyways, next he was impressed with the idea that the foundation for the new order of the ages had been laid. So a new world order, see? New world order connected to this. had been laid in 1776, but that it would be completely only under the eye of the great architect. Did you hear that? Under this new world order, it's going to go under the eye of who? Who's the eye that's going to go rule this? Ooh. Let's keep reading right here. Roosevelt, like myself, was a 32nd degree Mason. He suggested that the seal be put on the dollar bill rather than a coin, and took the matter up with the Secretary of the Treasury. He brought it up in a cabinet meeting and asked James Farley. Now, James Farley, he's a postmaster general and a Roman Catholic, if he thought the Catholics would have any objection to the all-seeing eye. Would you? You're a great people, the Catholic Church. You want to have you must have an objection to this, right? No, the Catholics don't see any problem with that. Which he, as a Mason, looked on as a Masonic symbol of deity. Farley said, no, there would be no objection. You see right here? Now, if you look at my other videos about the elites, if you look at all these big shots and you go connecting to the pyramid, what's very interesting is that with these elites who want the New World Order, you're going to see them connected to what? You're going to see them connected to these guys: Catholics, Masons, Theosophical Society. You're going to see them, you're going to see these big elite players connected to these organizations. Right. And remember the Roman Catholic oath, how much power they have? They still continue on their power. Right. So notice right here what everyone is making a way for. They're all making a way for the Antichrist. Not just spiritually, but physically right now. Right. Physically. It's going to, because remember this, the Antichrist, he has to control all the physical powers of the world. So you might as well get ready and prepare for the big day.